So when you set an intention to make $1 million, you have to strategize somewhere. So set an intention, pay attention. What does that mean? You see opportunities that you might not. You see opportunities to save money.
Hey, I want to go out tonight and have a blast. You're going to see all the things and opportunities to have a blast. You're most likely not going to stumble upon a sales workshop when your goal was to have fun, so it's like, make sure you're setting those intentions.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of Next Level University, where we teach you how to level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode, the 5 M's of Next Level Motivation Live Meetup Monday. Today, for episode number 660, how to actually manifest what you really want.
Okay, so for the listeners, I was in the car driving home from the lake yesterday.
Hashtag.
It was on the 4th of July.
Lake life.
Hashtag lake life. And I was sitting there thinking about, so on the NLU team dashboard, which is basically a Google spreadsheet that all of the NLU team is on, there's a manifestation formula. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, honestly, a lot of people throw the word manifestation around. And I'm not sure if any of us fully understand what it means. And I know that, saying this humbly, I know that my understanding of manifestation has increased drastically over the years, and I know that it still will. But this formula, I wanted to interview Kevin about, because I think that at the beginning of your personal development journey, you saw The Secret.
Yes.
And you started to write affirmations. I am going to be wealthy. I am healthy, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to help you transcode for the listeners what you understand about manifestation now.
Okay.
So first, I'm going to read the formula. And it's this: manifestation equals, and if you are not in a car, you can write this down. If you are, please don't. Okay, manifestation equals set intention plus pay attention plus strategize plus take action plus learn from it plus consistency. And I can go through each one quickly, but then I'm going to ask Kevin questions about each. So set an intention. Decide exactly what you intend to achieve. Pay attention. Prime your reticular activating system to pick up on the persons, places, things, and ideas that are aligned with your intention. Strategize. Once you see an opportunity that is aligned with your intention, strategize about which is the best action with the highest probability of success based on your current awareness. Okay, take action. Have courage and take the action even if you have uncertainty. Learn from it. If you succeed in getting the desired outcome, great. That teaches you what works. If you did not, also great. What didn't you know before that you can now use to recalibrate your intuition for next time? And then last but not least, consistency. And this, I think, is the most important, because without it, there's nothing you can do. So consistency. With consistency, all things are possible. Without it, almost nothing is. You can't just do this process once, but rather over and over and over again. Okay. So the very first question I have for you is just high level. What did you think manifestation was back when you first learned about it before the podcast? And what do you believe it is now?
Before, when I first just kind of watched The Secret, I literally thought you just kind of hope for things.
Okay.
And they happened. Now I realize that one of the reasons people are not able to quote unquote manifest, don't start.
We're a little giggly.
Because they set an intention, but their intention is a hope.
Right.
So I've told the story before of when I was, 12, I thought I was setting an intention.
I'm in a good mood.
Even though I was hoping that I was going to get drafted into the MLB, I would be able to buy a $150,000 Winnebago RV, have really nice cars, have, my friends and I basically driving around the country in a $150,000 Winnebago, just doing whatever we wanted with Ferraris and dirt bikes and quads. I hoped. I didn't intend. So I think this is what happens. Intention is great, but for most people, it's a hope. So instead of intention, it's a wish. If you have a wish, you don't ever get to strategy. And I do believe that something you and I have come across, and we've had people on the show who basically say, I manifested this, I just hoped for it, and it happened. I don't believe it works that way. I just don't. Because if it worked that way, everybody would kind of have what they wanted.
Right.
So it's a deeper formula than most people give credit to. I think that the reason they don't is because when they're teaching it, they want to make it seem as easy as possible, because that's the way everything kind of is sold, so to speak.
So why do you think that you weren't able to manifest things easily? I guess let me ask you this. Do you think that you could manifest easily at the beginning of this journey, and then what has changed for you?
At the beginning of the journey, I don't think I believed it was possible. I didn't believe that having a successful podcast was possible. So I didn't intend on it. I didn't even wish. It wasn't even a thought. It wasn't a thought that you could have 100 and something countries listen to a podcast. That wasn't what I was in it for, I don't think. I think that's where most people are. It's like everybody wants to be in better shape or wants to have more money, right? So, okay, how about this? We talked about this earlier. I was listening to a podcast. Somebody reached out to me about being on their show, and I listened to them on another show. And one of the questions the person asked them was, do you think that when it comes to health, wealth, and love, basically, that people are just drastically unhappy? And in my mind, I was like, if somebody asked me that question, what would I say? And I would say yes. And the reason is because they haven't studied health, wealth, or love. So when you set an intention to make $1 million, you have to strategize somewhere. So set an intention, pay attention. What does that mean? You see opportunities that you might not. You see opportunities to save money or to make money. But then when the strategize part comes in, you have to learn. That's the one thing I don't necessarily like about The Secret. It suggests that you don't have to learn anything new. If you want to become something different, if you want to get a different result than you have, you must learn something new.
Right.
If you want your output to change, you have to change your input. You have to change what's coming into you to get something different. So I don't know if that answered your question, but I went off on a rant there.
No, it does. So all that you've achieved to this point, a lot of it you talk often about how it's like doesn't feel real at times and it's unbelievable. For the listeners, what about your life is better than you thought it would be? And what did you have to learn? Like, would it have been possible without learning and, like, go into that?
I think Next Level Podcast Solutions is, a shameless plug, is something that 2 years ago was like, I don't think that's something I can do. So Next Level Podcast Solutions, we help people, busy CEOs and entrepreneurs, grow, scale, and monetize their podcast with very little of their time. That's our jam. And right now, I don't know. I think we have maybe 12 to 15 clients, something in that range. I don't know the exact number. But I didn't think that I could have my own quote-unquote business. You've helped me a ton with it, so it's not just me. But, like, I kind of started it. It was my baby in the beginning.
Right.
I had to learn everything. I had to learn profit margins. I had to learn gross income versus net income. Yeah. I had to learn sales. Like, what does it actually mean to be on a call with somebody, and how do you know if they are ready to buy? I had to learn prospecting. I had to learn influence. I shouldn't say I had to. If I wanted to get this, it was necessary. All of everything.
Do you feel like you had to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do feel like it was a necessary thing. I got to learn it. I don't want to make it seem like it was a task. It was hard, for sure. I had to learn that rejection doesn't really matter that much, genuinely, because I have so many people that never got back to me.
Oh, yeah.
I also...
How many, just for the listeners?
75%.
Right.
At least.
Just never got back.
Yeah, just never got back.
Wild.
I also had to learn, and this is the thing that you can't sell, that it might take you 2 years to get a client. It might literally, like Dr. Taryn McCarthy is a client of Allen and Ours.
Yeah.
We met her at Brendan Burchard's event. I literally talked to her for like a year and a half before she ended up becoming a client.
Right. Now she's a client of mine as well.
Right.
Now she's ours, obviously.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But yeah.
But now she's been on the podcast. Alan and I are going to go on her show. You know, I'm sure she'll speak at our events. We'll speak at her events. Like, that literally took a year and a half. Not sexy. Doesn't sound good to say. I can't sell you on that. Like, oh, yeah, within a year and a half, you might have a new client. But I had to learn that. But that's because I set the intention, I paid attention, and then I strategized. I did the first 3.
Right.
Those were the things that I had changed.
The reframe there, or the new frame, I should say, is planting seeds. They might not grow right away.
Right. They might never grow.
They might never grow. But some of them might grow when you didn't even expect them
Yeah.
to. All right, so I'm going to go through each of these quickly. And again, I don't want to like hammer you here, but okay, the first one is set an intention. Decide exactly what you intend to achieve. How do our listeners do that? Based on your new awareness.
I would say override. If you have limiting beliefs, override them. I journaled not every day, but Over the last 2 years, I've probably journaled half the days, I'd say.
Okay.
And one of the things I would write is Next Level Podcast Solutions, before I even had the name, full-time podcast agency.
Yeah.
Literally 5 clients is what I wrote. 5 clients. I wrote that every day or every other day for like a year until it just seemed normal. Now I reflect on that, and it's like, we have way more than 5 clients. Yeah. We're making way more money in that than I wrote down back then. So I think you have to just kind of trick yourself into it. Set an intention that you know is a stretch that you'd like to get. Don't say, like, I wish this happens. Like, set that intention. Write it down like it's happening. That's what I did. Charlie, when we had him on, he talked about quantum journaling. Mm-hmm. Write it down like you already have it. I was writing down, I have my dream relationship, long before Taryn and I reconnected.
Right.
Now, I wasn't writing it down and doing nothing about it. I was trying to improve as a man. You and I have had so many hard talks about, like, hey, I didn't like the way I said that. Like, I want to be more of this. I want to be less of this.
Constantly.
That's why we have our partners.
The interesting thing is, if you didn't write that down,
would I have done it?
Would you have done it? But not only that, but like, would you have known, like, okay, I believe this. When you write down, I have 5 clients, I think that now you have an emotional guidance system. When you're outside of alignment with that, you'll notice it. So when you and I have a hard talk of, like, I wish I didn't say that, or I don't want to say that way, I would argue that that's because that's corrosion on the way to our intentions that we've already set.
Yeah.
And so that's another piece of this. Okay, pay attention. Prime your reticular activating system to pick up on the persons, places, things, and ideas that are aligned with your intention. You obviously understand that at a deeper level now. What is the reticular activating system, and how do people use it?
The reticular activating system, when you get a new car, you start to notice the car that you have. Taryn and I are going to Colorado next year. We're going to Telluride, Colorado. Never heard of it. Didn't know it was a place. There's a car called a Kia Telluride. We see it every time we're out together now.
Interesting.
It was always there. It was always there. The car's been out for a couple of years. Never knew it was a thing. Now our subconscious, unconscious mind picks up on it. Before, we just never knew it existed. So set an intention, pay attention. Coincidence happens, is the Dave Meltzer. Mm-hmm. Paying attention just means now that you're aware of what you want, you have the ability to see it. If I said close your eyes and imagine close your eyes right now. Okay, and not if you're driving. Imagine every red thing in the room. You have no idea because you didn't prime your mind to see red. Open your eyes. Imagine every green thing in the room. Okay, now close your eyes and picture all the green things you just saw. Like, you just primed your mind to see green. Yeah. Basically is the simplest. I think that's the simplest way to put it.
Yeah, what you focus on, you'll notice. But you have to, when you set an intention and write it down, your subconscious. So the reticular activating system is something that deletes stuff that it thinks is irrelevant. So if you say, "Hey, I want to go out tonight and have a blast," you're going to see all the things and opportunities to have a blast. You're most likely not going to stumble upon a sales workshop when your goal was to have fun. So it's like, make sure you're setting those intentions.
Sales workshops are fun.
Yeah, right. Depends on your definition of fun, and that goes even deeper level. All right, strategize. Once you see an opportunity aligned with your intention, strategize about which is the best action with the highest probability of success based on your current awareness. I think that I've come to understand that the engineering mind is naturally strategic. The chess mind, I think that's a natural thing for me that I've always done, and I realize now in hindsight that's not common. Or not everybody does that. What's your take on strategy? And what do you do now versus the way you used to operate?
I think strategy is something that's been probably the hardest for me to learn, but I'm grateful to have you, because I think in order to strategize, you have to know what the final result actually is and what makes the final result, which I think is very hard for people. Before, it was I would just try things and hope they worked. I didn't really know. I think fitness for me is probably the best example, because that's something I was always kind of able to strategize. I would say numbers matter more than, and you're going to love this, numbers matter more than people give credit to. So Taryn and I have 2 new kittens. We're tracking their weight, because when they're kittens, it's very important that they eat a certain amount. And Taryn and I are kind of nervous because little Ace hasn't been eating. And I said, babe, we just have to weigh him every day, and we have to track the amount of calories he's eating. I said, it's the law of thermodynamics. Calories in versus calories out. Like, it's the same with cats as it is with humans. We just have to weigh him. If the weight's going in the right direction, it's great. Why is that strategy? Because it removes our emotions from it. Because I don't feel like he's eating enough. Well, the scale says he is. That's our strategy. Stay on track with the right amount of weight gain.
I just realized that this formula doesn't have measurement.
Oh my
It should.
goodness.
It totally should.
Well, now you got to throw a KP stamp on there, and I get 51%.
for sure.
Awesome.
51. Funny.
49%.
Yeah. All right. Take action is the next step. Have courage and take action, even if you have uncertainty. You have the confidence conundrum. You, I think, are good at taking action. I think the strategy piece was what was missing for you, but a lot of people struggle with this. Go ahead.
You have to understand that this is where the rubber meets the road. You could buy every single book. I have a couple. I was going to say a bunch of books on here. I don't. But on my bookshelf, I have however many books. They could be the best books in the world. They could have the best tactics in the world. Most people aren't willing to take the action. Gary Vee says it all the time. Like, I give you guys the same stuff every time I speak. Same stuff. Post on your content. Like, all this stuff. But he said most people just don't do it. You have to understand at a deep level that it's not about what you want. It's about what you're willing to do. Like,
yeah, that's fire.
Are you willing to pay the price for the promise that you believe you'll get? And most people just aren't. And again, this is where the secret doesn't say anything about taking action. And this is why it's a dangerous game. I believe in manifestation so very much. But I also believe that the actions you take are more aligned because you've already set the intention, paid attention to it, right? You've strategized. So now the actions you take will get you closer to those goals. If you don't take actions, you can still manifest, but it's not going to be like you want it to be. It can't. You're not going to manifest being in shape, right? Like that's something that doesn't really happen. You're most likely not going to manifest your dream relationship unless you're the capable party, unless you're the person capable of attracting and sustaining that. And then with wealth, like you're not going to manifest wealth unless you do the work. You have to do the work. Whatever the work means to you, you have to do the work. It's not just going to come to you. I wish it was that easy. I wish that we manifested 660 episodes, but we showed up every single time to record it. So when we do have whatever it is that we decided, we could say we manifested it, but if we took it deeper, it would actually be we worked for all these things intentionally.
Right.
You know?
Right. Okay, two more.
Quickly.
All right, learn from it. If you succeed in getting the desired outcome, great. That teaches you what works. If you didn't, also great. What didn't you know before that you can now recalibrate your intuition for next time?
I think, good.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, this is the having a growth mindset.
Mm-hmm.
If you're out there right now and maybe you just started a business or maybe you're fresh out of a relationship or you're trying to save money and make money, like what is working? Double down on that. Right. What isn't working? Let's just make a little bit of a shift. Let's make a little shift and try something different. Like what can we do? I'm trying to think of a good example of this. We do this all the time.
What's working for us?
What's working for us? Getting on other shows.
Okay.
Huge.
What's not working?
We're struggling right now to get A-list guests. The process isn't working. We're trying to figure out how to refine the process.
Right.
It doesn't mean you get rid of it. I think what a lot of people do is just sweep it under the carpet.
Yeah.
Just sweep it into the dustpan.
Tweak it.
Yeah, and then shake it up and see like, oh, this actually worked pretty well. Let's keep that part.
Right.
It's not an all or nothing. I think you can save certain parts and get rid of the stuff that's not working.
Goldilocks.
And the three bears.
And the three bears, yeah.
Yeah.
Not too much, too hot, too cold.
Just right.
That thing, just right. All right, very last.
Yes.
Consistency. With consistency, all things are possible. Without it, almost nothing is. You can't just do this process once, but over and over and over again.
Yes.
So, yeah, we talk about consistency all the time, but go ahead.
I believe that you have to have some sort of tracking system. Somebody came to me, a former client, and said, like, I don't want to live my life through a checklist. And I said, I completely understand, but I can tell you that the people who have achieved what you want to achieve do.
Yeah.
Whether or not you want to is totally up to you. I understand that it's not for everybody, but I do believe that if you can't do this, you're probably not going to get the level of success you want.
Right.
Right? Like, is it that hard to track 12 things a day? In the beginning, it's very difficult. And honestly, it's always hard to do those things, but isn't that forming the foundation for the success that you want in the future anyway?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're going to have to be consistent. The people who have what they want are the most consistent in the pursuit of that. And I believe that if you connect all of these things, this is the last one. This is where the actual rubber meets the road of you've taken action now. Maybe you failed along the way. You certainly have. Things are difficult. You're probably outside of your comfort zone. But if you can keep showing up and trying to improve consistently, that's when the real things happen, the compound effect, numbers, #math.
Last question.
Yes.
660 episodes in.
Yes.
Lots of beautiful successes, lots and lots and lots of failures.
Definitely many of them.
If you could put this up on a billboard about manifestation, one sentence about manifestation, and people on the freeway would see it, and you wanted to help them manifest their dreams, what would it say?
Oh my goodness. The best intention in the world is just a thought without the right consistent action. I don't think that would land probably because I don't know, but I think that's what you need to hear. I want to have $1 billion net worth, not just for the money because I want to be able to impact people. I will not get that unless I do the right things. I will not attract that into my life until I become the person capable of it.
Why don't people admit that? I love that you admit that.
I don't know. Because I don't think most people believe that they will in the first place. Because that's like new to me. Remember, I wanted 6 figures 5 years ago. I was like, that would be awesome. So like, I understand that sounds crazy. And I might never get it. Right? There's a high probability I don't get it. But if I don't do the right things, that's why you have to at least believe it's possible. It has to be possible for you, and you have to believe it will be worth it, or you won't do the right things consistently. I'm trying to do the right things. We've talked about this. I might get to the point where I'm like, honestly, I'm not willing to do what it takes anymore. Then the law of attraction will stop working.
Mm-hmm.
It will stop attracting, and I'll stay where I'm at.
Yep.
But until then, I plan on hammering it.
Amen, man. This is fire.
You dig it?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, our first dual course, what it really takes to get to the next level.
I liked what I did there.
Yeah, that was nice. Little guns.
Yeah.
We have broken the years and years of self-improvement that we have studied into an easy-to-follow online program. Best part, number one, 2 best parts, $47. Second best part, if you don't like it, we'll give you your money back in 30 days. Like
Message us.
Yeah, you can do it right on there.
Oh,
it's a whole thing. It's all automated. If you don't find value, it doesn't get you to the next level in 30 days. Send it back. We'll send you your money back. No questions asked. We just want to help you.
Fire. Also, join us in Next Level Nation. It's in the show notes. And basically, if you've not felt supported in your goals and dreams, every relationship in your life is feeding you or bleeding you. We talk about this all the time. If you are around a bunch of people that are bleeding you, especially when you talk about your goals and dreams, get into Next Level Nation because you need to balance that out. Next Level Nation will feed your soul. It'll feed your ambition. It'll feed your heart. It'll feed your goals and dreams. I promise you that. And if not, the person who suppressed you will be kicked out of the group.
Boom. Ladies and gentlemen, we love you. We appreciate you. And as always, we do not have fans. We have family. We will talk to you tomorrow.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.